Women who say a cardiologist drugged and sexually assaulted them want to file a lawsuit. They claim that they reported Stephen Matthews to dating apps as far back as 2019.
But he was allowed to stay on and then connect with more women. 9 News reporter Kelly Rinke spoke to their attorney.
The longer Stephen Matthews sits in jail, facing accusations from 16 women, calls to an attorney keep coming.
And so we've been getting phone calls almost every day of the week.
Stephen Berg is preparing his own case, separate from the criminal one against the cardiologist in Denver. He's representing women who say Matthews drugged and sexually assaulted them after meeting him on a dating app.
There were multiple reports to the different dating apps early on in the process, letting them know that he is a rapist and he's a dangerous individual, and he continued to be on the dating websites.
Berg says some of his clients reported Matthews to the apps owned by Match as early as 2019. An arrest affidavit says some women found him on Hinge or Tinder years later.
A company is told that this individual is a predator, is a rapist, is a danger, and they took no actions of it, and this was totally preventable. They were told he would be removed.
And that didn't happen.
And that didn't happen.
Now he's planning to file a civil lawsuit while prosecutors charge Matthews with more than 30 felony counts.
We've seen a lot of proof reaching out directly to the dating apps. You know, talk is cheap. I mean, right now on the website, they talk about safety being a priority. They talk about taking it seriously.
Berg's clients felt ignored and now want the apps to take notice
and make an impact to make sure that something like this doesn't happen again.
Berg says some of his clients are involved in that criminal case against Matthews. He's still in jail on a $5 million bond. We reached out to Match, that parent company, tonight, and we are waiting to hear back.
Yeah, it's such a scary case, and it's so good that more women are coming out, though, right, and telling their experience.
Yeah, we had the first woman in this case where those initial charges were filed. She says she went on a date back in January of 2023, and since then, 15 more women have come forward.
Yeah. Now, more women will be alert on those apps for sure. Yes. Kelly, thank you.
While the metro area was just roasting today, the storms were racing out east. You could see those towering storm clouds all the way from Douglas County. Tornado touchdown in Lincoln County. No reports of damage out there. Lauren Robinson, we are headed for a cool down tomorrow, and then you're thinking storms could be back?
Yeah, we're going to continue to watch out for storms, especially tomorrow and Saturday, but those temperatures will drop a little bit in the meantime as well. So that'll be some nice temporary relief. We got very hot today. We made it to 93 degrees at DIA. Right now we're at 74 degrees. We have winds coming in from the south at around 16 miles per hour. Dew point's not too bad, 57 degrees there. But as we continue to monitor our HD Doppler radar, we did have some very light, brief showers push their way right across the I-70 corridor into portions of Denver earlier this evening. They were very brief, very light. Where we are seeing the stronger activity is going to be these very strong storms that are finally starting to move their way out of southeastern Colorado. These storms did still have some alerts attached to them all the way up until just 3 minutes ago. So we will watch for those to continue to push on out. Here in Denver and the rest of the urban corridor, though, we do have an air quality alert until tomorrow afternoon, 4 o'clock. We're going to watch for those increased levels of ozone. So coming ahead in my full 7-day forecast, we're going to talk about spotty storm chances tomorrow, a wet weekend forecast, but we get very hot next week. All of those details just ahead.
Some people in Broomfield spent part of the night forced out of their homes because of a gas leak in this fire. Firefighters spent 2 hours trying to keep those flames from getting to the houses in the Carl's Farm neighborhood. North Metro Fire says something hit a gas line today and the gas leak started that fire. They evacuated the homes closest to the fire while Excel turned off the gas. Then firefighters got it all under control. They started letting people go home in about the last 2 hours. There was a second gas leak in Broomfield today, this one on 160th near Huron. Firefighters say that one didn't impact any homes.
Investigators are asking for help tracking down a group of teenagers accused of breaking into gun stores across the metro area. This is video from some of those break-ins in Arapahoe County. The deputies say same group hit 5 places Sunday and Monday morning. Investigators say they took ammo and parts of guns, but don't think they stole whole working weapons. If they're caught, teenagers could face serious felony charges. Deputies are asking anyone with information about the thefts to call the Arapahoe Sheriff Tip Line.
Right now, police in Wheat Ridge are searching for the people who fired 50 times at an apartment building early yesterday morning. Fortunately, they didn't hit anyone. Police say the shooter or shooters targeted one apartment on the second floor at the complex near Kipling and 44th. Police think they were targeting a man who lives there, but he wasn't home. Another person was, though, inside the apartment, but they weren't hurt.
It's terrifying anytime something like 50 bullets is fired into an apartment, and stray bullets certainly could have injured someone.
Police say someone tried to call 911 right when the shooting happened, but their phone died. Somebody else managed to call police more than an hour after the gunshot stopped.
2 homes in Arvada are damaged after a serious fire today put up a plume of smoke that could be seen miles away. The fire happened around 2:30 this afternoon on Yarrow Street near Wadsworth and Pomona Drive. Arvada Fire says one person got out of one of the homes safely. The other home was empty. One house has a lot more damage than the other. Nothing yet on the cause of that fire. Part of a street off Colfax was shut down for some of the afternoon with people in hazmat suits and Denver police helping the FBI with what they said was a drug investigation. The officers, firefighters, and the hazmat team went through a building on Race Street. They took over a Walgreens parking lot to give them room to work in the process. We're still trying to get more details from the FBI about just why the hazmat gear was needed.
When someone leaves the hospital after a suicide attempt, their crisis isn't always over, and help isn't always easy to find. 9 News reporter Cole Sullivan shows us how a state program is filling the gap.
Colorado Crisis Services, this is Kat. May I ask who's calling?
Usually, they answer the phone.
Are you experiencing any suicidal ideations today?
But the folks at Colorado Crisis Services sometimes make the calls too.
That people sometimes just need someone to empathize and to hear and to care and to check in, to create that space and to provide additional resources if needed.
Lena Heilman leads the state's Office of Suicide Prevention, which funds the Follow Up Project, a postvention program where crisis call takers make calls to people who have already shown they need help.
People remain at elevated risk for suicide after experiencing a suicidal crisis or a suicide attempt.
She says data show in the month after someone leaves psychiatric care, they can be up to 300 times more likely to die by suicide. Many other patients never show up for their first therapy appointment.
And so we know that having non-demanding, caring contact check-in helps reduce the likelihood that someone will re-experience suicidal despair or reattempt suicide.
That's where the free follow-up project comes in. Participating hospitals ask patients if they want the check-ins. If they say yes, trained call takers give them a ring about once a week for the highest risk first month.
It's been going really well.
So well, the program's expanding. Now it can connect younger patients to free therapy, which keeps up the help and the hope.
There's so many options and opportunities to survive that despair.
The state says around 70 hospitals across Colorado now participate in the program. They say the hospitals like it too, because not only does it help people, it also reduces the likelihood they'll return to the emergency room in crisis. Obviously, this does not take the place of prevention and intervention, Alex, but it aims to fill another gap.
Yeah, when you think about the suicide rate in teens in this state over the last 3 years, historically high, youth certainly needs these types of services.
And that's why they say they're expanding these services not just to those follow-up phone calls for young people, but also actually connecting them with therapists for free appointments as well. That's the big expansion they're planning now.
It's needed. Cole, thank you. Just a reminder that there's always help. There's help available 24/7 for people struggling with mental health. Colorado Crisis Services has counselors available around the clock. You can call or text the number on your screen. You can also dial 988 to be connected with the National Suicide Lifeline.
The sheriff, who said that his deputies, quote, failed to meet expectations when they shot and killed a young man during a mental health crisis, that sheriff is now retiring. Clear Creek County Sheriff Rick Albers says he will leave next month after 43 years with the sheriff's office. Sheriff Albers faced scrutiny from around the world and pressure from his own county commissioners over his handling of the death of Christian Glass. Glass died last summer, shot and killed by a deputy during a mental health crisis. Back in May, the county and other law enforcement agencies agreed to a record $19 million settlement with the Glass family. It included significant promises for police reform and specific apologies. 2 county commissioners told us last month they did not believe the sheriff's apology was sufficient and that he hasn't done enough to improve the mental health response in that county. The lawyers for the Glass family said that Albers' resignation was a step in the right direction, but they told us, quote, it is only a start toward avoiding another senseless death. Albers did not offer any explanation for the timing or the reason for his resignation. Bandimere Speedway's time in Jefferson County is coming to an end. The final race at the track is set for this weekend. And this week, a federal judge threw out Bandimere's longtime lawsuit against pandemic-era health rules. Back in the summer of 2020, Bandimere got in a lot of public trouble for holding races in violation of the county's COVID capacity restrictions. First, Bandimere sued the county in state court, claimed that the public health rules were illegal. Judge Jeffco dismissed the case. Then the Bandimeres went to federal court. This week, a federal judge dismissed the lawsuit, saying that they couldn't just try it again with the same parties and the same set of facts.
Arapahoe County is giving homeowners the option to help with housing affordability. County leaders agreed last night to let people build granny flats or accessory dwelling units on their properties. They're typically used as housing for extended family or as rentals. Arapahoe County will allow ADUs on lots that are at least 5,000 square feet. In urban neighborhoods, people can build them with up to 2 bedrooms. It's happening! Taylor Swift is fewer than 24 hours away from taking over downtown Denver. Crews have spent days setting up at Empower Field for Swift's Eras Tour. The merch truck showed up this morning at Empower Field, and get this, people started lining up at 2:30 this morning. Okay. The lines kept growing as the day went on. The heat kept getting hotter, and it was too much for some fans. Several people had to be treated. First responders aren't giving us specific numbers. So if you plan on driving to the concert, you have to be careful where you park. The Department of Transportation says they're going to be out looking for people parked illegally.
Don't just pull it over on I-25 and run to Mile High. They frown upon that. They want to remind you can catch a ride on an RTD bus or train for free. It's a summer thing. And RTD says between the Taylor Swift concerts, the Rockies games against the Yankees, and Cirque du Soleil at Ball Arena, they could have their busiest weekend ever.
We know too well that this is going to be probably RTD's busiest weekend we've ever had.
Yes, we did. We bleeped out a Taylor Swift song reference there. We're kind of done with the puns at this point. RTD told us that they're going to add extra cars to trains, and they will pause some construction so that they have room to pack in as many Swifties as possible. When Swift played in Atlanta back in April, the city's public transit had 57,000 riders in the entertainment district, about 12,000 riders more than a normal night. RTD is expecting a similar Swift boom. They're also changing the RTD Trip Planner app for the weekend, so you don't even need to remember where the concert is. If you put in your destination as Taylor Swift, it will tell you how to get to her on public transit.
The summer monsoon is running late this summer, so is our wildfire risk, but forecasters say that could soon change.
The city of Denver has created a taxpayer-paid feature film on the greatness of Mayor Hancock, and the city tells us they're not sure how much it cost.
Year out to the Olympics, and they're bringing back a controversial choice for the athletes' living arrangements. We're back in 60 seconds.
That's very fast. It's very, very, very fast.